All right, folks, we're going to get started. This is the Opioid Abatement Committee, and it is September 25th, 2025. We're in conference room 112, the Sumner County Administration Building. I want to welcome everyone. I want to thank you all for coming. This is probably the most important, and I'll say this before we get started. This is one of the most important committees that I think in the county that we have, the most important, because we are trying to save lives. So that was my opening statement. Agreed. So we have an invitation. Jeremy, would you mind doing an invitation?
Sorry. Dear Jesus, we just thank you, God, for your wisdom and your guidance, and we thank you for just dying on the cross for our sins and showing us a better way, and for eternal life and salvation, God, and knowing that all we're doing here, even though it's impactful, it still is hay and stubble. But I pray that what we're doing now in this committee would be of lasting and eternal values of saving lives and bringing people out of addiction and poverty and cycles of abuse. And I just pray that these captives truly would be set free and chains would be broken because of this process, and that government can actually be used to wield good in people's lives in this instance. And just pray that you give this committee wisdom and guidance, and bless us in Jesus' name. Amen.
Next thing is Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like a motion to have an approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Recognition of the public. Is there anyone here that would like to speak on behalf of what's on the agenda? Yes, ma'am?
Maybe.
Come up and say your piece.
You want me to just, like,
You'll have to sign your name and
okay,
your address, that kind of stuff.
okay. I can do that.
So then you come up here now.
Do you want me to go ahead?
Yes. Come on. Okay. Second. All right. Sorry.
Can you tell us my first time?
Well, I think you're doing great.
Thank you so much. My name is Wendy Swaby, and I'm the new president of Recovery Court. And we just had a board meeting today, and so I came to just say, based on the contract that we have gotten, there is wording in here that suggests that we are to take care of all the overages of the build-out of the new space, or the old space that we're being given, and that scares us because as a nonprofit, we are unsure how to come up with that money, not knowing what that money will be. Because it's our understanding that you guys are hiring the contractor and doing all the design, because it is a county building, which is, we are so grateful for, let me say, and we're just super nervous to commit to an unknown number that could be, as we all know, with construction costs, way above and beyond what we could imagine. So, and again, as a nonprofit, funding the clinical side of Recovery Court, we hope that we could have some other type of window to be able to make all that work. You're welcome.
Yes.
Lippert?
Lippert?
Justin, you're going to speak. Am I supposed to speak now?
Yes, please.
Okay.
If you put your name and your address.
I just want to echo what you said.
Hey, Dustin.
Monday, our opioid has been used to save lives, and we just started this discussion. Excuse me, our chief medical officer at High Point Sumner and ER doc, and have seen unfortunately more than a few overdoses over the 20 plus years that I've been in the ER. We started the discussion a year or two ago about how this money was going to be used, and we set up a recovery navigator, Justin, and it has not made the hospital any money, which was not the point, but I think we've made a difference in people's lives. Justin, when people come in with overdoses or with admitted overdoses, the funding has allowed Justin goes and talks to them. He gives them what's called a box of hope. It has Narcan in it. He helps facilitate getting to treatment centers, and there's really just been some amazing stories. And I just want to know that the money has been well used. I think it's made a difference, and we appreciate that it's been considered to continue, because I was actually pretty concerned when we started, like, is this going to waste our time here, but it actually has really worked. So thank you.
Anyone else like to speak? No? Okay, we'll close recognition of the public. Motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I'm going to abstain.
Mansfield's abstaining. Report of the committee chairman. I don't really have a report per se. I have comments, which I would like to say. First of all, welcome Jeremy Mansfield. He's our new member on the committee. Thank you for coming. I want to thank Danny, you for being here. You're extremely supportive, Matt, and I never can really in person.
You don't even remember my name.
Terrible, Will.
I'm a thorn in your side.
No, I don't know what it is I have a block. But I really do appreciate you because you're so knowledgeable. But I want to thank Dustin for his work. Mr. Shamrock over here, because it's got Shamrock on the tag.
Everyone figured it out.
But I do want to thank you all for being a part of this committee for the time that we've done so far. We have made inroads in our community, and we've made a difference. The hospital has helped us. All of the other groups, the recovery court, Sumner Coalition. I know I can get it out. I'm sorry. I had a little brain problem a couple weeks ago, so I'm working on it. But you guys are kind of the backbone a little bit about. People didn't know about you. They didn't know what was happening, and I think by having this committee and showing what we can do in the community, saving lives is so important. I deal with this kind of stuff all the time in my work, and you cannot treat suffering with pain medication. The mind is suffering from something, and many people turn to pain medication or fentanyl or other drugs to fix the suffering, and that's not how it works. I would encourage all of you to watch a documentary called The Bitter Pill. I don't know if you've seen that. It actually is a documentary about West Virginia, Huntington, West Virginia, who actually were the first people to sue the pharmacy on the epidemic. Small community of about 1,700 people, and they sold over 1 million pills in a year for payment of oxycodone. I encourage you to watch it. It's heartbreaking, but it sure does shine a light on what happened and where we are today. So those are my committee chairman. This is what I have to say, and the rest of it is kind of what we've all been doing, and we're all good stewards of the money that we have given out, and the people that have accepted it actually are making a difference. And I just want to say that I thank everybody who's been a part of that. And that's really all I have to say. Oh, Matt, you finish something?
I was wondering, where were we at with the vending machines?
We have a vending machine. I went to an opening. They have one at Volunteers Behavioral Health. They had an open house. I went to that. It's costing the hospital. Familiar with that? They have a vending machine that has Narcan in it. And I think the hospital has one there.
What about High Point?
High Point.
High Point does not have one. Sumner Coalition, when they get established in their new office, they have the funds to purchase one. The interesting thing about volunteer behavioral health is, since it's actually been in production, they've already requested 2 shipments of naloxone to distribute out because they have gone through it that fast. Driving by today, they only had 2 boxes left. So that area has been
I was
used.
just curious about if High Point was getting one, because I mean, they're usually the higher number.
Right now, I believe they were having an issue with their insurance being able to cover it, whereas Volunteer Behavioral Health and Summer Prevention Coalition could do it. There was an issue further up regarding how that would work with their facility.
Just because I haven't seen the numbers of this month overdoses, and I just know usually High Point's usually the top, so I didn't know if there was going to be over there in that area.
So it's right across, but for the statistics for High Point Health, we'll get the next round as soon as this month closes out. Okay. So you should get September's numbers the first week of October. Usually Jay Austin sends that within the first 4 days.
Yeah, that was, it was great. They had an open house. They had different vendors that were there. And there's a lot of people doing good work. Report of the grant account.
Okay, so if you look at your financial spreadsheet that's in front of you, try to make this as easy as possible. So you have the revenue. We've only received 3 checks for restricted funds, which you see at the very top. Then you have round 1, direct appropriation 1, and direct appropriation policy 1. All of those are considered actuals, meaning that all of those will be spent in its true dollar amount. If you go to round 2, that's the grants that we have offered for this current fiscal year, being like the Prevention Coalition, Recovery Court Inc., and the Health Department. With all of that, we may get some funds back on it, but not much. And then direct appropriation 2 is the partnership that is the Sheriff's Office and Volunteer Behavioral Health. That amount I expect to be fully spent. Sheriff's Department has already purchased the body scanner, and we are in the process of working on the mail scanner. Volunteer Behavioral Health has reached out and has begun the first steps to work with them on treatment. And then for direct appropriation 3, Recovery Court for $500,000. That one is currently with Wald Architecture. They are doing the build out, and so that has been directed under Mr. Shamrock, and he's been working with them to do the Recovery Court build out as well as the sheriff, or potentially the sheriff area. And then the Prevention Coalition for the $100,000 has been spent, and they are now in possession of the property for their own administrative offices. So at this point in time, are there any questions, comments, or concerns about finances? Yes.
Just a question on the direct appropriation 2, Sheriff's Office, 417.
So
is that what you said, body scanners? Is that for?
That is for 1 brand new body scanner.
1 body scanner?
And 2 mail scanners. So you're going to get 3 scanners altogether. 1 that's a body scanner. Okay. And then you have 2 mail scanners. What we learned from the sheriff as well as
for the jail, the court, or
just the jail.
Just the jail.
So there'll be 2 intake points as far as the body scanners go. The mail scanners are important because Judge McCormick, when talking with her, you actually had somebody that has taken her stationery envelopes, soaked them in drugs, and then mailed it to the facility where somebody overdosed. And so that's how we came across with the mail scanners. Looking at Exhibit E, we needed to show not only that we're going to be preemptive, but also that we wanted to help those with opioid use disorder. So that's why they're partnering with Volunteer Behavioral Health. So that way people can seek treatment if they want it. We cannot force treatment on them, but we can now offer it to them.
Anything else?
No, ma'am. That concludes my report.
Under old business, we have status of the committee. Well, that's kind of right now. They, last month, the legislative committee had proposed to change this committee to, one commissioner from the budget committee, and then the rest of them be, people from the community. And several of them would be mayor appointed. I disagree with that because I feel like that becomes political. I would prefer to keep it as it is. I think that at least have 3 commissioners. But right now, the status of the committee is up in the air because they deferred it to their next meeting this month to decide what they want to suggest. I'm opposed to what they're suggesting. I think it becomes, I'll just say it, I'm just going to say it. If a committee, a standing committee is going to only work with one committee member, one commissioner, and the rest of them being citizens, then why isn't every committee designed that way? Budget, why isn't it one commissioner and citizens doing the budget? You know, that philosophy to me doesn't work because it took in my head. So I have an issue with that, and I think that when we start having political people being appointed by political electees, that becomes political. And we've done so much work with this committee, and we're the best program in the state. We have been recognized as the best program, and to pull the rug out from what the committee does now, to me, says that you didn't have faith in us. And I don't think that's a good thing. I think we're great. We've done a fantastic job, all of us. So I disagree with it. As far as the status of the committee, right now I can't give you a definite because that hasn't come to fruition.
I'll make a motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss.
You got a second?
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm terrible.
Just want to get this out on proper procedure there, but I would just echo. I mean, I was pretty impressed with this committee for all the work you guys have done and being definitely a model for the state. So I just want to say, I mean, you guys have done a great job and really appreciate the commitment and dedication. Honored to be a part of it. Definitely, I want to be a part of this because of my work on Gen Ops and working with Recovery Court and the Prevention Coalition and trying to help them get your space and understand that process and being a part of it. I've lost family members, suicide from addictions, and so I understand. I know where this road goes. It's not a pretty place, but I definitely am against what's being proposed. As one commissioner from the budget committee, well, you're not on the budget committee, and you're a doctor and you're dealing with this, so it would exclude you from even being on it. I'm not in favor of a standing committee or a committee of a commission that's going to be commission approved. I think the proposal is to change it from being budget chairman appointed to being committee appointed, which is fine if full commission appoints or approves. But I think keep at least 4 commissioners on there and 2 citizens at a minimum, or maybe 5 commissioners and 2 citizens, or if you want to have 4 commissioners and 3 citizens. But I think the ballot should be commissioners because I mean we are elected officials, and our self-fiduciary responsibility to take care of county funds and even state and federal funds coming through. So I wouldn't want to see the balance being greater as citizens than commissioners for that, especially unelected individuals. But I also wouldn't be appointing for this since the county mayor thinks on this and hasn't been here but a couple times in the past 2 years. So I mean, it's not a process we've been even involved in. So I think it should be a county commission appointed committee, 2 committees, and approved strictly because it's within the county commission's purview. And so I don't think any other appointing authority should be a part of it. But that was my objections when I saw that come through. So that'll be my objections if it does proceed outside of just the committee appoints and then the commission approves. And I think the structure should pretty much stay the same. If the county, move the county mayor, move the sheriff if they're not going to be involved, reduce the number down from 9 to 7, and make 4 commissioners, 3 citizens.
I think one of the comments too was that we had trouble with quorum. I think it was only twice that we've ever had problems with quorum. And we still had the meeting. We discussed, but we didn't vote. So we were here.
So with 9 people, you had a problem with quorum?
I think now we have a
a situation where all members of the committee can vote. For a while, it was just commissioners.
Right.
So now every
Oh, so that's what you mean by quorum?
yes, and so,
But
but,
that's written, okay.
yeah,
We can.
I'm on committee, we've talked about it, I'm sure it'll be brought back up this month. One of the things that was discussed was just the fact that if we have people on there from the medical community, people that have dealt with, I just don't have the experience myself. I've enjoyed being on the committee, but, you know, I mean, I have family members, but I haven't been directly involved with them. But I think there would be people that could bring more experience to the table. That's just my opinion.
I
As we
mean,
move
the comment
forward.
was made that we don't have any commissioners on there, we don't have commissioners that have experience in this line of work, which I disagree, because I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was a false statement.
And the new proposal would exclude you, specifically exclude
Right.
you from being on it.
I think the biggest determining factor too, you need to understand is this is a taxpayer money, so as far as elected officials overseeing it, obviously, really, right? And I mean, ultimately, it is pass-through money through the county, so yeah, I mean, having a commissioner or two commissioners, but I think ultimately having majority citizens. I mean, also to the point that you made of politically appointed, I think the state and the attorney general actually set that precedent because even the governor appointed positions at the state level down. So that kind of set the precedent at that point on what that looks like.
Matt, you have anything?
Well, as I spoke at the Gen Ops meeting, what their new, I guess their new proposal would be versus what we proposed was they just recommended someone from the medical field, which I said I don't think it should be someone from the medical field. It should be someone from the medical field that deals with recovery, not just, you know, a nurse practitioner or a pediatrician or a dentist. It should be somebody that deals in the recovery community. I was fine with, I mean, taking off, you know, 2 commissioners, if it's 4 commissioners or 5 commissioners. But I do think it needs to at least be 2 commissioners at minimum, just because, like I was talking to Will here, is, you know, a commissioner can take this to the full commission and give their opinion, but they're not going to have the whole support of the commission. Like, even if the commissioner takes and says, hey, this is what our committee recommendations was, are they going to take our recommendation? But I think if there's at least 2 commissioners that say, hey, this is what we discussed, this is what we voted on, it would probably be more well taken. So if it's 2 or 3, but I mean, right now we have 2 commissioners that aren't here now, and then 2 other elected officials. So, but the citizens seem to come, so I don't mind it being 4 citizens. I think we should stay at the number of 9 people, not 7, because, as you said before, we've had problems with having quorum, because when you have 7 and then 4 don't show up and you only have 3 people here, but if you have 9 and at least, you know, 5 show up, we can.
Well,
What we have today.
yeah, we're 5 today, so I think that, you know, and also in the fact that if it's just one person, a commissioner, only one commissioner, and they're on the budget committee, that sort of narrows it down, and it's kind of, I was hoping at least 3.
Right.
Because if one of them isn't able to come, say they're ill or something like that, there'd be 2, or at least representation, not just one single person from one single committee.
Right, and I agree. I don't think it should only be 1 commissioner. I think there should be more than 1 commissioner, but.
You're talking keeping 9 people, I would be opposed to anything less than 4 commissioners. And then, like you said, this is within our purview, and there's a elected officials, commissioners should be, if not majority, close to it on this, in my opinion. And right now, that's how it is, it's 5 commissioners.
Yeah.
That's how I think it should be. But I guess it's really not up to this committee at this point.
I do have something else.
Sure.
As the lady who spoke about them taking on, you know, the commission or the county's the one, you know, designing this and approving everything, but yet they have to pay the bill for it.
We'll get to that in a second,
Okay.
because that's not
I just wanted-
100% accurate.
Okay, I just wanted to get some clarification on that.
Okay.
So again, it's back to what's the status? Right now, I don't know. And I don't know where we'll go. I mean, I'm just one person, one commissioner with an opinion, just like the other 23. And again, I would love to see it, I'd love to see us complete this cycle through the end of next year. And then
Agreed.
they can pick up after that, because it's gonna change. If you pull it out now and change the, pull the commissioners off, or change this, you're restarting something, and you only have 4 or 5 months, before everything changes, because nothing's guaranteed when you're an elected official. You could be beat by anybody, or whatever. Who knows? But I just think it's silly to pull the rug out from a program or a committee, and all the work we've done, and we're the best in the state, and pull the rug out in such a short period of time. It doesn't make sense to me. So that's the only thing I know about it. So that's all I can share. So we'll go to contract FYI recovery for Inc.
Motion for discussion.
Motion for discussion.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay, so starting on page 1 of your agenda packet, you will see that Recovery Court Inc. Has requested some edits. All the edits are in yellow. I met with Judge Hunter before Wendy was accepted to be the head of Recovery Court Inc., and these were all the suggestions that he wanted. Now, to discuss the build-outs and the program in its entirety to bring you up to speed.
Yeah.
So, almost a year ago, this month, a motion was made for $500,000 to go to recovery courts. Okay, so it did. Then we started looking at how much it was going to build out. Interesting enough, they needed $132,000. Judge Blanton was aware of that in July of last year. He did not share that with anybody in the Department of Finance or anybody on this board. Recovery Court Inc. found out about it, and they applied for the $132,000 to need for it, to do the match, or for the complete build out. So the funds, because it is a county-owned building, are maintained by us, because we're going to have to be the ones dealing with the contractor, because it is our property, number one. Number two, regarding the build-out, we only have the $632,000. So the way that the contract will be written, when Mr. Shamrock was working with Roll, and they're starting to slowly develop the RFPs will say, if this project comes in over budget, then this room or this can be removed from the project, okay? So if they want to add it back in, we don't have the money for it. They would have to come up with the money. Contract to be signed, the price could go up. So, 632 is still an accurate number. Hopefully right now it is. Wald believes that they can, after looking at everything, it will be 632 roughly at it. So what I'm asking for is, looking at this contract, A, to recommend the changes, and then B, maybe think about putting a time stipulation on there, because not only do they have to sign this contract and get it executed, we also have to start looking at, which is not part of our purview, it would be Gen Ops, to try to do a lease agreement with them. Right now, the going price for rent for a commercial area is $18 a square foot. And when talking with Judge Hunter beforehand, we were looking at taking facility, and we would take it as rent, and the other half they would be giving to Recovery Court to help offset any expenses that they need. So they would still have roughly the same amount that they would spend yearly, but half of it would go towards Recovery Court, the other half would be coming to us. And also, when talking with Judge Hunter, it was recommended that since they were thinking about going this route, that they would ask for it to be stabilized, meaning that there wouldn't be a cost escalator in their rent for up to 5 to 10 years. So that way they can be able to prepare their budgets for the future, and that both entities would have the funds available that's needed for Recovery Court, additional testing strips, or whatever that Tracy needs to request, and then from the county standpoint, the funds to upkeep the property that they'll be using.
So the money that's already been pretty much allocated is going to go towards the build-out. they're not gonna be responsible for it unless it goes over budget and they add to it, correct?
Correct.
So I remember when Judge Blanton gave us, you know, his presentation, everything that he was requesting, he was within budget.
Correct.
And he didn't expect to go over.
Correct, but if it does go over and something needs to be cut, we do not have the funds to cover it because we don't have another check coming in until April unless something else happens. But that would be it. So we would request them to either A, use their own funds to build out that section, or B, they go and request the funds.
Okay, so as long as we stay on track, stay under budget, they're not gonna spend $1.
Correct.
Okay. And they're involved in all the discussions.
They're in the discussions right now, so Judge Hunter and another member of Recovery Court, Inc. actually did the walkthrough. Tracy, who is behind us representing Recovery Court, was with Judge Blanton when we did the walkthrough with Wald. I know that Tracy's reached out to Wald to ask a few questions behind the scenes, and so right now we're just trying to get everybody in the county to, on all of our capital projects, to go through either Scott or myself to ask the questions so that way we're all on the same page.
Okay. Fine.
That's where we are.
No, that's good. I just want to make sure.
So where are we at on the timeline of the money? You know, since none of it's actually been spent,
So what?
where are we at on the timeline of the funding being spent?
Okay, so if you're looking at the timeline of funding being spent, are you talking about all the projects, or are you talking about the Recovery Court projects?
Right, because technically that money's not been spent, right?
That money has not been spent. So if you look at Recovery Court itself, that's round 2. This committee, at our last meeting, we requested there to be offered to Recovery Court, Inc., instead of having a 1-year contract, a 2-year contract. That motion failed, which means their funds have to be spent by June 30th.
The $132,000.
The $132,000. Recovery Court is given a longer contract because it was a direct appropriation, so I'm not worried about them. Also, what you're not seeing for Recovery Court or Recovery Court, Inc. for this build-out is and Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, the $125,000 for the architects. That is not in here. So the county commission has given $125,000 for an architect for the Recovery Court portion. And so that's being used right now. And then once the build-out the plans and specs have been agreed to, and we put it out to bid, then my plan is, should Recovery Court, Inc. sign the contract within time, then we will draw down those funds first, meaning that it's the whole entire project. We're not dividing it into this little section here is for Recovery Court. It's the whole Recovery Court area being built out. That one, the $132,000 should, knock on wood, be drawn down by June 30th. But the longer we wait to get contracts in place and to advertise, the harder it's going to be.
But I also want to back up the $500,000 because it's a direct appropriation. It's still time stamped.
It's still time stamped, but if you're looking at it, let me look at something real fast.
So that'd be on direct appropriations number 3, right?
Direct appropriation number 3. So technically, they have 3.5 years roughly to pull down those funds. So I'm not worried about the Recovery Court $500,000 right now. It's solely.
So that's until 2028.
Yes. Yeah.
But we're also talking about a project that hadn't even started. It sounds like we're waiting on the architects still, right?
No, we're waiting on Recovery Court, Inc. to sign and to start working with us and to also make a presentation to Gen Ops about what they would really want to see in the lease.
So that's the contract that's in the back of this.
No, they have to come up with their own, and it has to be approved from legal. Now, if this body decides, since we are also kind of looking at maybe being in limbo, you all could say, Recovery Court, Inc. will give you 2 months to do the contract, and at the end of the 2 months, the funds we would prefer to go to Recovery Court so we can build out. That is a possibility as well. That way, Recovery Court, Inc. would only have to deal with Gen Ops. But I have not discussed that with Judge Blanton, and I'm not for sure if he would accept an amendment or not on it. with them signing the contract, that gives them a little bit more teeth into the project, so that way they want changes they can be made. With all the money, should it go to recovery court, then they would not have that power of the dollar behind it.
Right, because I know they were wanting to make the changes with the secured wall and secured doors,
Yes.
and for the inmates to come to recovery court.
So what's our action, to request the contract be signed, or?
You can request the contract, to be amended, because we did approve, basically, for the ones that are not here, a year ago, we went through the contractual process of what the contract should look like and using the state one. So the yellow highlights are what would be differentiated from what we agreed to beforehand. So I would be looking for a motion to offer or to accept the changes that they have requested, would be the first one. And then the second one, if you all want to put a timestamp on this contract to let them know that it needs to move forward, then you have that ability as well.
So,
Yeah.
do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we give them time limits to sign the contract so we can get this going.
Yeah, so let's do one at a time. Motion to accept the changes to the contract, am I correct?
So moved. I'll second it, for discussion. I assume this has gone through legal already.
Yes, it's gone through legal. Stephen has already signed off on it. We have the email should you want to see it.
So we have a motion to approve the contract changes, correct?
Second.
And second, all in favor?
Uh,
Okay, now your next motion was to
Put a time limit on,
timestamp
it to have it signed so we can get this project going.
within 60 days.
I mean, do you think 60 days is long enough for them to sign it?
I'd like to request a motion to suspend the rules to ask Wendy the next time that they meet.
Motion to suspend,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
We have got a proposal to the Gen Ops group, to be able to be on the October, what is it?
Agenda.
Yeah, to be able to get a lease agreement in place before we say yes to this, because again, we feel like we don't want to commit to things we don't know the answer to, and I'm a good faith kind of person, but I can't say that for my board. So they want all of that done. So would it happen in 60 days? I don't know. Does Gen Ops move that fast to be able to give us what a lease agreement would be?
Well, I would hope so, but
Depends what they,
depends on what kind of coffee they had that day.
Don't ask me about it.
Could we do it based on the fact that we would get a lease agreement from Gen Ops instead of a time?
So a motion would be, I'm just discussing it, a motion could be that we approve a 60-day stamp based on a lease agreement that may be, has to be approved in.
Right, I was gonna make an amendment to,
Okay.
we can do 60-day timestamp as long as Gen Ops agrees with the lease and they agree. Just because I know everybody wants to get this moving and the money's there. Yeah.
So,
Who's responsible for creating the lease? You said they are.
Okay, so regarding the lease agreement, Recovery Court Inc. has to do a proposal showing what they believe would be a fair market value or what they would request to be the amount that they're willing to spend on the lease per month. And then Gen Ops would have to say yes or no. Then it goes in front of legal, and legal would have to draft said lease. And that's how it would start to.
There's no reason that shouldn't happen in October.
it
Goes to
Then
legislature.
it goes to the county commission. So
60 days
is a second month to, or
Yeah,
second meeting.
I think that's plenty of time. That's 2 meetings.
So to go to general, whatever, then the next week is legislative, it would go on legislative, and then from there it would go to the full commission, so we're talking in the third week of October. So that would start the timestamp, the third week of October, am I correct? Would that be right, if they approve it?
Well, I was thinking it'd be like the first week of November. Because wouldn't, if they did everything in October, then you still have November until full commission needs to come back to us.
Give me 1 second. Yes.
So it would be, if the lease is approved in
Where'd you get permission in timeline?
I know, right?
So this is your creation.
I agree wholeheartedly, it is my fault.
So if the lease is approved in October, everybody's on the same page, and it goes to commission, and they approve that lease agreement.
Then you would have technically 60 days from October 27th, which would make it December, which is on a Saturday.
Which means it'd be the fourth Monday in January when it comes back from the commission.
No.
Unless you guys want to set a price for it, and you can do that. We can just get
That doesn't fall under our purview, that's Gen Ops.
that's for my ignorance.
And as I have mentioned already, both Judge Hunter and as in the email to you, we have stipulated, right now, pretty much fair market, and the understanding of the discussions was half of what you're paying currently in rents would come to us, and the other half is Fallon, and you have said that you would take it back to your board, which I believe your board was not.
We meant to that.
Okay, were they in agreement with it?
Oh, no.
So,
That's why I'm here. I drew the straw and come.
so that's where you are. You're going to be in the contract negotiations with them, and the longer they have contract negotiations, the more our prices will go up for this project.
Yeah,
So we're still, roll suspended to the apologies. So when you say your board rejected the,
200.
is that more than you're paying now, I assume?
It is not more than we're paying now. Yes, it is, as a nonprofit funding recovery court, for the clinical side, we believe that we're saving the county more money than that. And so to pay an additional $1,300 is like taking money out of our funding to be able to help participants for some.
Are you guys paying $1,300 right now to lease the space, or what?
We have three or four spaces that we lease,
Yes.
and it's around.
Pretty convoluted.
It's so complicated.
So is it around $1,300 you're spending right now?
No, we're spending about $2,300.
You're spending $2,300 now.
The county's offering $1,000 less in rent, and the board was not happy with that.
Correct.
What is it? What are they suggesting?
They would like it to be $500 or less. And the reasoning behind that is because all of our funding goes directly into helping to lower the cost for the county of the participants that.
Sure, but isn't the county, the fact that you're knocking off $12,000 a year into that effort, and the county's
Agreed.
chipping in $125,000, and the county's providing the space and oversight for this.
Agreed.
So that's a lot. We're just.
And from a legal standpoint, with talking with Director Settler, he's afraid that if we go lower than that you're going to have every not-for-profit knock on our door asking if they have space.
Yeah. Hey, we can save $2,000 a month getting our county building.
Gotcha. So this will go to, I understand the issues now. Thank you for answering that. Help me understand.
So I stick to the 60, knowing that, I mean.
Why not 30 days? That's your end of November. And why does it be 60 knowing it's really 90 days from now, not 60 days from now? You're talking about 90 days from now.
If something doesn't get done though in October, that throws a wrench in the whole thing, in October, because anything can.
Well, that's what I was saying, if
happen
something
with us
happens
at
in
any
October and they don't come to an agreement, we're at least giving them another 30 days, and by then, 60 days is.
But I'm saying it's 90 days from now, not 60 days.
Right.
It's 90, so making the point 60 days, like from let's say 60 days from October 6th, that's really the first week in December, which gives you time to come back to Gen I. I'm just saying it pulls the timeline a little closer to actually meet with committees. Does that make sense? It's like
90 days. I would say 90 because you've got all these holidays and we're switching committees around, and I don't know. You say I think 90.
no, I said 60 from October 6th. basically. That's when Gen Ops meets, which means, or what, I would say 2 months. I'm not gonna say 60 days, because we're gonna get caught in these weird calendar cycles. I'm gonna say 2 months, which basically allows you to come back to Gen Ops in November as well as December.
Right. It gives them November and December to come back to Gen Ops.
60 days from October 20th commission meeting would be,
Well, that's December the
20th.
Yeah, so be there.
Yeah, that'd be the end of December.
I just want to make sure when I get caught in a weird.
Yeah, probably that's on it too far, not knowing the status of the committee here.
Well, we're gonna stay, I mean, I know next month they're gonna come back, but I'm gonna come back and speak, and I think a few others, and they're gonna put it off again until we get what we're trying to get done anyways.
Sounds confident, I mean, I don't know.
We're gonna try to keep going.
Well, yeah, we're gonna keep going and keep getting this work done, so I'm gonna keep fighting that.
What makes sense to you timeline-wise?
I mean, timeline was hearing about the committee as well as the meetings. It would be nice to have them come in November, even as a courtesy check-in, saying, this is where we are, because that way at least we know they're trying and we're not hearing it from other committees. We can hear it straight from Recovery Board of what they have tried to do and to try to see if we can help them.
If it needs, something needs to be amended, we can do it at that time.
So what's your timeline? Like, is it like 60 days, 2 months, just knowing that we have all of October, that will still give you all of November and half of December?
They have until November 27th. That's what I would,
If you're going.
and come back. If we're going from today
To 60.
Yeah, they have until.
November
So this
27th,
gives you October, November, not December.
right, and then they would come back and report to us if they run into any problems or situations and see if we can help them out through that process. Because ideally, I believe Wald wanted to put this out when, Scott?
They still have to have the engineers go through, so it'll probably be November, December.
Yeah.
Highest law, yeah.
No, the architect's already done a 3D model. I thought you asked about the architects.
I said engineers, and I think he referenced.
He just referenced that one. I thought you were asking about the architects. My apologies.
Make a motion, bring it back to the.
So what's the timeline on this whole project? I'm gonna go back to that then. I mean, I know we're gonna go in a contract, but I mean, some of this money is tied up, time stamp, like,
Right, so he's
by
saying.
law, just because it's allocated.
Their money has to be spent down by next June 30th. They're on a, 6 months, they got 6 months to get
Right.
shaking and get this going, and I think once his stuff is in and all that, they're gonna spend that money down first. Time frame for recovery court is the Glen side,
Right,
we have to 2028, and that
right,
is not as sensitive, so that's where we are.
yeah.
And of course, you know, with any government, everything's cooking, so
Yeah.
that's where we are, sorry.
I also know we're construction too, that's why I asked about the engineer, so I appreciate you answering that clearly.
And we have the money for the architect, so I can get it all the way to bid out. It's just gonna be starting construction.
Correct.
As long as we have it all done by then,
So it sounds like we
we
got
probably
our
won't
wheels in
start
motion.
till December, January construction.
Right,
We have our wheels in motion, we know.
but the county is paying for the architect, right? So this $132,000 though, right, goes to the construction.
Correct.
Which we don't know when really it'll start, being the holidays and stuff.
Potentially in a signed contract.
We all have to be,
I'll make a motion for, 60 days from today. Is that what you determined
Yes.
today?
So they come back in November and talk.
That gets us past October full commission, and it gets us past the November full commission.
Second.
all in favor?
Uh,
So, and then that also, they'll come back and tell us the status report.
I was
We
gonna
can
say-
always add things at that time.
Did we put that amendment in there that they're gonna come back and tell us, like, hey, this is where we're at with our contract, I'm getting it signed next month?
We can make a motion to.
Well, that's just come next month, I don't think we need a motion, but.
Okay,
Make a motion, read it.
okay. I'm good with that.
Okay.
I think they're gonna be here.
Maybe they're all on. Let's see, we have a contract, new business, we have a contract amendment for volunteer behavioral health.
differences on these, so if you look at page 12, my mail merge failed. And so it puts up the wrong field. So if you're looking under the recitals, it actually does a recital that was part of the Prevention Coalition. So therefore, we're asking just to have the amendments redo the recital that says it allows volunteer behavioral health to offer services to those who have brought contraband into the facility and or are about to be released.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Contract with 5 Point Health.
Attached is amendment, as we discussed earlier regarding the finances, we have $202,908.10 because the status of this committee is somewhat in limbo. Should there need to be a break of service, it would be nice to start clean with a brand new committee, meaning that all funds have been earmarked and they can concentrate on moving forward. With that being stated, with discussions with High Point Health and our chair, we would like to offer for you all to review a potential grant amendments to the tune of $202,909. The 90 cents that is not in your page is actually coming from our advertisement area to cover that expense. And that would extend their contract for another 2 years on top of what's already been offered and allow Justin to stay. That would not cover anything for the Prevention Coalition or volunteer behavioral health. It is only to fund salary fringe and anything below the line that the hospital needs for somebody that's in the emergency department with opioid use disorder.
I'll make the motion. Anyone make
Is that including what's the $355,217?
Okay. So the 300
On page 14?
Okay, page 14. So the 300, let me go back over here.
Is that just adding up these two?
Okay, so if you were to look at their old contract has a line item for salary and fringe for Justin.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was to that tune of $152,308.46.
Okay.
And then we're adding the $202,909 for a total of $355,217.36, which is salary, fringe, and overtime.
For how long?
That goes until,
That's not a year, is it?
no, that is an additional 2 years on top of their current contract.
And how long is their current contract?
Their current contract is, give me 1 second, 25. Their current contract ends December 31st of 2026, so this will get him through roughly, so 2 year extension to December 31st of 2028, roughly.
The $300,000 will get them until 2028, correct?
The 202,909 would get them there, yes. That's all you're increasing it by.
Alright. I was just making sure that wasn't like.
Did you make a motion?
So moved to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
I just had a question about it before I voted.
That motion, you got a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against it?
Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Thank you all for coming.